Hey everybody, it's me, Adam CHAPNICK, and I'm here in New York City at the Security Token Academy's New York City Meetup. We're here celebrating the Security Token Industry Launch Week, and we've been talking to some seriously interesting people. Take a look at what they had to say.
So Eamon, Tokeny has a very international flair. You've told me previously that you guys accept issuers from almost every country. How are you able to do that? Because a lot of the other platforms actually exclude US issuers.
A lot of it is trying to make good connections with other attorneys and regulators in different countries, make sure we navigate kind of the traditional security laws and be able to implement those into our own offerings with our clients. And so it's really just trying to get an understanding of each region we want to work in, and we don't want to exclude anybody until we know for sure it's not going to work.
So does Tokeny focus exclusively on security tokens or just tokens in general?
We started with utility tokens. We are very selective on utility tokens.
Okay.
We still believe in utility tokens.
Okay.
But of course the big market is for securities.
But what excites me the most about distributed ledgers for capital markets is the fact that here is an industry that has really built the modern world. Western civilization is, a large part due to the growth of capital markets.
Absolutely.
And yet we have this industry that is quite opaque in many ways, and just very recently caused a little fuss in 2008.
A little fuss.
It hurt a
Oh
little.
my goodness.
It hurt a little, and you can say it was because some of the transactions, some of the instruments that are traded on this market are just a little one-sided. There's lots that we don't understand about what we're buying and selling. And something that tokenizing a security can help do is to add a little bit of transparency to that.
Yeah.
And to give investors real-time information on, talk about something like a mortgage-backed security, real-time information on whether or not some of these bundles, the pieces within them, are being paid on time. So is the instrument that you bought, the risk at which it was assessed, is that accurate to what's happening in reality?
Right. Think of how different it would have been.
A lot of ICOs went out and raised a lot of money last year, and now they're in a lot of hot water. Some of them have been approaching you because they've gotten subpoenas. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Where are we with, resolving all these things that really should have been security tokens last year?
It's a great question, and I think your final point is absolutely right. It's important for people to learn about security tokens, how to issue them the right way. We saw in 2017 a slew of ICOs, initial coin offerings, and what I would maybe generously term securities tokens offerings. Virtually none of them were done in a way that the SEC approved of, and the SEC has been blanketing the street, the crypto street, with subpoenas and information requests to gather information about all of them. Because my firm handles SEC work, we've obviously been seeing a lot of activity in this area. And the way we see it, the way the SEC sees it as well, is three broad groups of ICOs conducted in 2017, but a few in earlier 2018. The top tranche were the out-and-out frauds, the places where somebody said, give me money and I'll give you my coin. They got the money and they said, see ya, suckers. There was never any coin, there was never a company. And they bought Lambos that have since been repossessed because the Department of Justice is going to put those folks in jails. and flamethrowers, I don't know.
There you go.
Those folks are getting hit hard, both by the civil authorities and by the criminal prosecutors as well. And I think there's no general disagreement that those folks belong in prison. The second tranche down is a more interesting place because it's people who had real companies and actually sold real coins, but they didn't do it the way the SEC wanted to. Not just because it was unregistered, but because they were overselling it. You'll make 1,000% in a week. And obviously the SEC hates when people make those kinds of representations with securities. They also hate it when they make representations like that with tokens. And we're seeing a lot of activity in that area. The next level down is people who have real companies, real products, and they issued real tokens, And they did so honestly. There were no overpromises. They really were telling people legitimately what they were going to get. But they still did it in violation of Section 5 of the 33 Act. It was an unregistered offering of securities in the view of the SEC. Right now, the SEC is in an information gathering position. They're getting the information on what happened and holding off on making a decision about whether to come down hard on these folks, because they could, but if they did, it would have the potential to wipe out the entire industry. So for right now, that's in a holding pattern. That's what's going on with the issuances.
What inspired you to go about doing this business?
You know, we've looked at several different avenues and vehicles to raise the capital, and long story short, we looked at the ICO market, which proved concept. It proved that the market is there. It's the ultimate crowdfunding source. But when we looked at the white papers, we literally poured over about 100 of them and spent night and day over them. We looked at them, and there's nothing truly backing a lot of the ICOs, unfortunately. So before the security token market was truly a security token label, we started to basically back all of our tokens by something tangible, which is the bauxite and equity in our company.
So were you in the process of these STOs? Are you at the beginning? Have you already finished or completed the raise?
So we've tokenized Mineral Coin, and we're in the middle of actually doing crypto equities.
Okay.
And then we're really, really close to doing the Cannabis coin and the Red Finance coin. And we're right there. We're super excited. Mineral Coin is off to the races. Again, we said we acquired a bauxite concession, 4 gold concession, and it's all backed by real assets.
Tell us about what you think about security tokens in general. What do you think is the most compelling future use that you're going to be involved with security tokens? Where do you see it plugging into your world in the most important way?
I think along with with providing liquidity for illiquid assets, I think that's the compelling use case.
Okay, so like you were saying before, if I'm in a REIT, or is it just who do you think are the guys that are going to do it? If I own my own building, am I going to tokenize my house so that my neighbors can own part of my house? Or where do you think?
I think.
Can I interject? Okay, I mean, when we're thinking about real estate and we're thinking about fractional ownership, right? We have these existing platforms today that are out there selling interest in real estate online to accredited investors and non-accredited investors. A small change in the regulation crowdfunding space, and then we've got Patch of Land and Realty Shares and Realty Mogul and others who are selling fractional interest in real estate, whether that's equity or debt securities. So those players, to me, would be the most eligible. And Fundrise with the REITs, they'd be the most eligible group to say, okay, how about tokenization? Would that open up our investor base? Would our existing investors appreciate liquidity opportunity? Would they be willing to pay a premium for that?
Right, interesting.
So that's where I see it headed first, at least.
I love it. I like that prediction, going on to all those platforms that exist in the equity space. I like that. Do you have a thought?
No, I agree. That's the low-hanging fruit. I think one of our goals is to bring down the cost, all of the costs involved in tokenizing assets, and the legal cost is obviously a key one. And the further we can bring those associated issuance and legal costs and other costs down, it'll make it more viable for, I don't know about grandma and grandpa tokenizing their vacation home, but unless it's a very big vacation home. Bringing the cost down to smaller issuers who aren't raising as much.
I mean, it's kind of like an extension of what ERC20 started, right? So ERC20 is just a very simple standard, but it basically showed people that, okay, interoperability. If I can create things which are interoperable, every exchange can work with it, every wallet can just load it and interact with it, and because you have that interoperability, we see all of these investment methods, the ICOs, the new projects using tokens in all kind of different forms and shapes, protocol token, utility token, payment token, voting token. Well, I mean, it's endless. It's not. Basically, security tokens is, in addition to that, to bring a more regulatory compliant aspect to it, to help it to integrate well with the old world, let's say, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's like the next step in like a very natural evolution, right?
Yeah.
Like the world is working in a specific way, so now two things are coming together.
Right.
So I think that's the exciting part.
Yeah. I will also speak later at the event about this, but it's basically really the aspect I'm seeing here is it's not only making it compatible, but security tokens itself are all about real-world assets which need to be securitized. While a lot of things, we have seen a lot of tokens and cryptocurrencies, for example, this is all basically the lifeblood and the mechanics of a decentralized system. So it's a piece of a decentralized system where this plays a role to either create incentives or to secure it or whatever else functionality it brings. While security tokens is really about like, okay, that's equity, that's representing ownership, that's representing a house or a share of a house, you know? It could also be kind of like the border between utility and security can be seamless in the future, because I can have a share in a house which at the same time gives me access to my apartment. Now, and it doesn't need to end there. And that's what the blockchain makes possible. And there's efforts underway to standardize this, to actually integrate this kind of regulatory angle, plus at the same time have the innovations blockchain brings. So.
Yeah, it's exciting. So when do you expect to have the big news happen in the fashion industry? When are you looking for that transformation to start?
Well, I think it's a process that will start slowly. I mean, we see it now. There's a lot of awareness from the fashion industry regarding blockchain technology. Slowly, we see the business of fashion is talking about it. Major publication, fashion houses, they're aware of it. So I think it's a slow process, but we're in the beginning of it. I think LUKSO will come out in the right moment. We have pretty good timing. And I think it will be maybe perhaps 2 years that we will see the first items being registered on the blockchain. Necessarily, clients will not know about it. Right? And they don't need to know about it, but they will get the benefits, and that's the interesting part.
Very excited. Well, for more interviews from Security Token Industry Launch Week, make sure you check out our website, securitytokenacademy.com.